Hi everyone! I'm going to be taking you through lesson 1.1 from our Good Project lesson plans, which focuses on students investigating the meaning of good work as defined by excellence, ethics, and engagement. So this is the lesson where students are first asked to think about someone who exemplifies good work for them. They're then asked to think about attributes of that person, put those attributes into columns of the three E's. They then are asked to do this worksheet, what is good work, an introduction to the concept, and then a homework that asks them to think more about their own concept of the three E's. And I'm just going to point out a few things that we would keep in mind if we were teaching this lesson. So first of all, I think it's helpful to have my own concept of the three E's in mind as I go into teaching this lesson. Not because I want to impose my own concept of those three E's onto students, but just because it helps me guide the discussion. But importantly, actually, we really want to make sure that students are not thinking about the Good Project's definition of the three E's when they're doing this lesson, because this is really their time to think broadly and widely about what they think those concepts mean and not to be actually narrowing down on the three E's. So we want them thinking divergently and not convergently at this stage. So really thinking broadly and widely about their own understanding of the three E's. Secondly, we asked them to look at the 3E's video. And so that's something that I would have ready in hand to go. So making sure you know where the video is and how to pull it up. I put the link here of where all the Good Project videos are. So if you go to thegoodproject.org/videos, you can see here are all our introductory videos. And if you click right over, you will see our video on the three E's. And if you click on that, you can actually get straight to the YouTube link if you'd like to use it that way. All right, so then if we're talking about the opening activity, again, really just emphasizing to the students that this does not have to be some huge role model in society. It doesn't have to be an athlete or some star or something like this. This can be an everyday person, their teacher, their mother, their father, some former relative, a historical person. It can be anyone. It can be somebody fictional. And then as they get into the point where they're really thinking about attributes of that person, again, like what are the key qualities of that person that really stick out to them? Is it their curiosity, their intelligence, their, stick-to-itness, their persistence, the fact that they're so kind to the people that they work with? What is it about that person that really means so much to them that they think they're such a good worker because of it? Then as you move into the next part, part two, we ask you, now that you have this list of attributes, do they fit into the three E's? Where would you put them? Would you put some of them under ethics? Would you put some of them under engagement? Would you put some of them under excellence? And so there's a lot of ways that teachers can do this activity. You can just do it on the board, create 3 different columns. Maybe you're teaching virtually. In that case, a lot of teachers use something like the website Padlet, where you can create 3 columns, and then students can use sort of stickies to put up their ideas and move them around. You could use something like Miro, which I'm using right now, with columns and stickies. Just knowing that there are a lot of different ways that you could do this activity in your classroom, and none are wrong or right, but knowing before you go in how you want to actually frame this activity for the students, either in person or virtually. The next activity is leading the students through the What is a Good Worker worksheet. And if, for example, you were feeling really tight for time after doing parts 1 and 2, you really wanted to give the students the time to dig into 1 and 2 and reflect on that, and you've realized, you know what, we only have 10 minutes left. I'd rather let them keep talking. I don't want to jump into this worksheet now. This is the activity that I would cut from this lesson plan. I would give them more time to do the opener and the group brainstorm, and I would cut out the what is good work and introduction to the concept worksheet. Even though I love this worksheet, but I think this is the activity that makes the most sense to cut out. However, if you do have time, it is a great conversation starter, having students maybe break up into pairs, do this pairs or maybe groups of 4, do this worksheet together, talk about it together, maybe come back and share out. That's one way you could do it. That's probably how I might do it in class. But of course, there's lots of ways to do it. And something I feel like is really important is leaning into the disagreements about this worksheet. Some people might really think one way and some might think another. Like maybe some people think disguising her identity as a journalist in order to collect evidence for a story is being committed to the truth, and really being committed to finding out what the truth is as a journalist, whereas others think this is being completely dishonest and completely unethical. And really talking about that and what does that show about our values and where did those ideas come from, and what does that mean for us and our values. And then finally, we have the homework, and doing the homework in the Good Project lesson plans will really depend upon the norms and values of your school, what part of the class or time of the day that you're doing the Good Project lesson plans. Maybe you're doing them as part of advisory and assigning homework really is not going to make sense. So maybe you don't want to assign the homework, but we have it there as a possibility for you. We have the worksheets there in case you want to use them at an alternative time. So they are there for you to use, and they're usually some form of reflection. They're usually a worksheet for your students to write, but know that you can always use an alternative assignment to have them do that reflection. So maybe you want to have them do an art piece. Maybe you want them to do a video. Here we're asking them to write about a good worker and explain why they represent good work, but they could easily do that as a 4-minute video explaining why this person represents good work to them. So know that you can always use an alternative assignment in these types of situations if you feel like writing is not the right option for them. So those are some key points that I would point out when teaching lesson 1.1. I hope that helps.